All right, so this is attempt number 2 at recording this intro. I got all the way through it and realized, hey, you didn't press record on your microphone, so you're just going to get the shitty laptop microphone, and that is not what this thing is all about. So it's Wednesday, January 15th. We are halfway through January. If you missed my big announcement, or you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, or my wife and I are having a baby boy. We're having a little boy, and we are super excited. Thank you, everyone, for all the well wishes in the comments and all that good stuff. Super psyched. It's nice to actually be able to talk about it rather than have to edit out full chunks of conversations in my podcast with people, because we were not announcing it right away. But here we are. We're doing April, so that's what's happening. That's what's happening. Having a baby. So make sure you sign up for that Patreon account. Speaking of Patreon, everyone should have gotten their stickers by now. If you haven't updated your address, then I don't know where to send it. So, your best bet, if you want one and you're signed up to Patreon, is to send me either Facebook message or an email. Best bet is the email, which is afterthegigpod@gmail.com. I don't always see Facebook messages, and because I have those notifications turned off because they were ruining too many recording sessions. But if you want a sticker, just ask. Just send me a message, and we'll figure it out. So let's go through a couple questions first. And I've already done this once today. So I woke up at 7:30 today to get ready for my trip that I have tonight, which I'm flying from Providence to Richmond, and then doing the tour down in Florida, and then doing the rock boat. So I literally have not put anything in my bag yet. I'm finishing laundry now. I have a ton of errands to do, ton of stuff. We've been putting together our baby's room. So I've been trying to just get things in order before I leave for 2 weeks. So that has been stressful, but we're doing it now, and things are looking good. I got my last load of laundry in the dryer, and then I have to just go do a couple quick errands. But, that's boring. You don't want to hear about that. So a couple questions on the Patreon or via email. Aaron Lloyd asks, says, I hope your new year is treating you well. Given your big announcement, sound like it's going to be a great one. You mentioned maybe doing a live stream leading up to the rock boat for questions. I am hopefully going to be doing that. It just takes a little bit of planning ahead and seeing what the guys want to do. So I'd love to involve Red Wanting Blue guys. I'd love to involve Alternate Roots. That's if Eric wants to be cool. And also, it just takes a little bit of planning ahead. I would love to do that. Can't do it on the boat because of internet and stuff, but hopefully I'll be getting a bunch of interviews, talking to a bunch of people on the boat, and it'll be great. It'll be great. I'm really looking forward to it. I've already have some people confirmed to do the podcast on the boat, and I won't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Wondering what advice you have for first-time rock boaters. Just go see as much music as you possibly can. Don't chill out in your cabin. You paid a lot of money to be there. If you drink, get a drink package, whatever it is, because you don't use a credit card on the boat. You use they give you a boat card, like a little boat ID that your credit card is attached to. So it's so easy to overspend when you're on the boat. It's so easy. I know so many times, and so many people have gotten off the boat and they're like, oh my God, I spent $2,000. And that's real. So make sure you have a budget. You have that planned ahead. That's kind of number one for me. Yeah, I mean, just have fun. Have fun. Don't be afraid to like go out and mix it up with other people. There's going to be so many people out there that are having a good time. Just have fun. Meet people. Make friends. It's such a community. This is only my second time, so I think I'll know a lot more people there. I'll know a lot more of the bands and a lot more of the personnel. So I think it'll be a little bit more laid back and relaxed for me. But the first time I was on the rock boat, that's how I met Carbon Leaf. And now I'm in Carbon Leaf. So kind of crazy. So who knows? Maybe if you're on the boat, you can be in Carbon Leaf too. So anything you wish you would have packed, make sure you have a bathing suit. Make sure you're like, you got your comfy clothes. If you like to exercise, make sure you bring sneakers. There's like a track that goes kind of around the whole boat. I think there's a gym there too. Make sure you have like medications you need. It's a bummer to get on the boat. Like I get motion sickness, so I wear the patches behind my ears. So make sure that you have all the stuff that you need. Think ahead. Please make sure that you bring your passport. I have a passport card, which is good for these cruises. So I don't have to bring the actual book and risk losing that. I thought about bringing the book instead, or just in case, because it makes me nervous. But I don't know. I'm just bringing the card. So there's that. Make sure that you bring something like nice to wear for people think that they're just out on the boat for vacation, but there's like nice restaurants. Sometimes people like to get up and dress a little fancy and just kind of do their thing like that. So make sure you bring, nice pairs of shoes, whatever, like dress, or, not necessarily like I would never bring like a suit or anything if I was a guy, but what does that even mean? If I am a guy and I don't bring a suit on the rock boat, I don't. And even if I was, anyway, I don't know what I'm about to say. So, just make sure you have something that you can go out in and feel nice and whatever. Any Carbon Leaf related surprises or group mashups you're allowed to mention? Nope, not allowed to mention anything. But there are some fun things that are going to happen that are out of the ordinary, special for the rock boat. So you can be excited, but I can't tell you shit. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate the questions. Hopefully that helped. Nicole asks about tickets and kind of like the best way to buy tickets to shows and stuff like that. What's the best way to help out the band financially? Definitely like any kind of merch thing. And you mentioned here if cash or credit is better. Cash is always better. It's definitely better. You don't have to pay the transaction fees or whatever for credit. But if it's between you paying credit or not buying anything, pay credit, buy something. It helps. So I think just buying anything, if it's a sticker, a CD, if it's something that you're going to gift. The t-shirts are super nice now. They're not like shitty, scratchy t-shirts. They're really nice, soft t-shirts. So you can wear them out. It's cool. The designs are cool. I wear mine around home. I have t-shirts from other artists that I know, other bands, and I wear them all the time. So there's that. Best way to buy tickets, go to the band's website. Number one, if there's no link there, go to the website of the venue. Bands usually have guarantees, which are based on tiered systems. So if you sell 75%, you get a bonus plus your guarantee, and then if you sell out, you get another bonus plus that, your guarantee. So you can't really, the fans will never know like what deal the band is getting. Just know that if you're in a good market and there's a lot of people at the show, they're getting a guarantee. And if they sell out, they're going to get more money. And all that's based off ticket price and all that stuff. And it's settled at the end of the night. But basically, the more tickets that get sold, the more money that the band makes, potentially. But thank you. I appreciate you caring about that. And I'm hopefully going to be having... I haven't updated my personal website yet, jessehumphrey.com. It still says 2019 information on there. So hopefully during this next couple weeks, I will be updating that while on the road. But I will hopefully be starting a online store and having a couple of t-shirts available. So to help me out, if you don't want to do the Patreon, you want to get something like, like a t-shirt or something in return, then you'll be able to do that. And I just need to think of some cool ideas, something that I'm just trying to think of something I would wear. If I would wear it, I'm usually like a J. Crew, like nondescript kind of person. So if I kind of take that approach to a podcast t-shirt, I'm trying to think of what that looks like, really, because it has to say something on it. Anyway, thank you very much, Nicole, for the questions and the concern. I appreciate that. Michael Gordy, he asks if there's any talk of Carbon Leaf making a new music video. We haven't done anything like and you say you've watched the Learn to Fly video a bunch of times. I don't think there will be really anything like that, like a production based around a story. We've talked about doing something like that, but we have done a lot of live performance video last year, and which hasn't been released yet. We did a whole concert. We taped a whole concert at the Jefferson in Charlottesville. We did a bunch of just other video stuff that we are very excited to get out there in the world in 2020 and hopefully 2021. There's a lot of stuff out there. I've had the pleasure of being able to listen to some new music that's coming out over and over again, just making sure everything's right, and we're all just trying to get it all perfect to get out there for everybody. So that is very exciting. But yes, there's new stuff on the horizon. Maybe nothing like a kind of like a story. I don't know what you call that. Like a regular music video, but it'll be like more like performance based. Let's see. Yeah, thanks for all the questions. I appreciate it, everybody. That's really, really awesome. But on to today's episode. So today I have the great Jessica Martin. Jessica has been managing and tour managing for many, many years. She manages Stephen Kellogg right now, and she has a new client in Brian Dunne, who was on the episode last week. I planned it that way. But Jessica is just super fun, super awesome. We like to kid around with each other, give each other little jabs every now and then. You'll see that in the episode, or you'll hear that in the episode. But I really, really hope you enjoy it. She has a lot of great insights on how her end of the business works and what she does personally. Because for so long, I didn't know what she did. I had no idea. I'm just kidding. But she helped me out a lot when I was first starting to like negotiate pay and stuff for tours and stuff like that. She would kind of hold my hand through the process and guide me through, and she taught me a lot. And I'll still go to her if I have questions or anything pertaining to those sorts of things, or just whatever. She's just great to sit down and have a heart-to-heart with too. But I hope you enjoy this conversation with Jessica Martin. This episode will be featuring a little bit of music by Stephen Kellogg and a couple of new tracks by Brian Dunne off of his upcoming record. So I hope you enjoy those. The names of those tunes will be in the description of this episode. And that's it. that is it. Moving on to this thing. Enjoy this conversation with Jessica Martin.
Lately you've been selling things, jackets that don't fit, guitars with old strings that you sat on a wall, waiting on a friend. And truly you tried, but you couldn't make time. All of them. Lately you've been staying home, waiting out the way.
So tell me,
How you talking to a microphone?
well, no, how do you get
So popular like me?
Yeah, how do you get so popular? Tell me about the proximity.
Whose
Where's the
interview is
audio
this?
bad, and where does it work?
See where the microphone ends, where your hand's holding it, and it ends up here? Put your mouth near that.
And I'm talking distance from this screen to this.
Nothing, it won't, like, I doctor it up so much.
Okay.
You're not even gonna, you think it sounds bad, or you're like, this room sounds terrible, but.
Good, great.
So, I mean, it can really only go up from here.
So true.
So, what's the deal with all the fucking nicknames? I don't get it.
You mean, why do I give so many nicknames?
Well, you give a lot of nicknames.
Yeah.
Steven gives nicknames.
Yeah.
Where does this bullshit come from?
I think from our family. So, growing up, our dads, who are brothers from the same family.
That's how cousins work.
How cousins work. Yeah, we'll draw it out. It's just a very nickname heavy family. So
Okay.
we just grew up around. That's what you do. You get
No
to know
matter
someone,
how
you
the
give them a
nicknames
nickname.
make that person feel, it doesn't matter.
It
right?
matters. I mean, I would say if I gave a nickname and someone came to me and said, "I really don't like that you call me that," I would not do that.
See,
if they made a point of coming to me and saying,
I'm not convinced that you would.
"Me?
Yeah. Actually,
I would.
I'm not so sure of. Steven,
would.
it doesn't matter. It's like, whatever it is, that's what it is.
I will say, though, there are some nicknames where up in your mind, in your heart and your mind, they fit the person, and the feeling was so right when you gave it that it kind of becomes their name, and it's hard to switch it off
Disassociate.
and then
Right.
call them by something else. And also giving someone a nickname, it's kind of endears them to you. It's
Right.
like it really brings you into this loving, familiar place.
Well, it also, and you have a whole separate thing with that person, and it's like Boots. Speaking of Boots, because he's playing right now.
Yeah.
I can't call him Brian.
You know who gave him Boots?
I feel probably you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a good
You know it.
nickname.
Yeah, it's a great nickname.
It's a great nickname.
It's a great nickname. It's stuck. But and so, I'm sorry, I interrupted. So you were saying
No,
you
that's
can't
fine.
look at him and
I
see
can't.
Brian.
I can't look at him and see Brian Factor. I see Boots Factor.
Yeah.
But I don't see Brian Factor.
Absolutely.
Brian Factor is dead.
Yeah.
It's Boots lives.
It's Boots. Boots has become his biblical name.
Yeah.
That is it.
So what are we doing?
Period.
What is this? I feel like this interview, this sit-down chat has been years in the making.
It has.
Even before I had a podcast.
You knew
But what do you want to talk about?
you wanted
This could go anywhere.
to have Jessica K. Martin come sit with you.
That's right.
How do they normally start? Do you introduce me,
No.
or does that come later? No, you don't.
I just like people to figure it out on their own. They do their
DIY.
research. No, I do an introduction. I don't introduce you. I'll say some probably things of bad taste about you.
Before you put it up, you do your little, like, this is me alone in my house getting it ready to go.
Have you ever?
Yes.
Have you ever listened to this show?
Yeah, I have. I just don't, but I can't see because it's a podcast. So I don't know where it's at or what you're doing.
You want to know where, and how I do it?
No,
Those
I
are
didn't know
secrets.
if the
If
I don't want you to divulge
If everyone
secrets.
knew that, then
No.
everyone would do it.
They would leave. They'd be out of here.
I figured something out that I don't want people to know about, and
Fair
that's
enough.
it.
That's totally fair. Moving on. So
No, I do. I do an intro from my house. It's my little home studio situation, and then that's how I put it all together on a
love it.
computer with a laptop and machines.
Great. good. Machinery. So you're asking me what I want to talk about, or have you done research and you have stuff you want to talk to me about?
Well,
and then I go.
I only know a few things about you.
Okay.
You're a manager. You have a company called Marionette Management.
That's true.
You have a bunch of very sweet people that work for you.
Yeah.
Who I couldn't get on the podcast. They were my first choices. And you have a bunch of kids.
Yeah.
And you're in Newport right now. Mm-hmm. And that's about it. So we got 4 minutes. We got 5 minutes out of it.
That sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Anytime. Why? Well, first of all, I guess I will ask you, when did you start managing Stephen? Was this a thing that started naturally? Were you like, I could do this? And Stephen was like, okay, no one else will do it. Might as well have my family do it. Just kidding. But did it happen kind of naturally? Were you trying to get in the music business before that?
So I was in the music business for
problem?
10 years before that.
Really?
I was a tour manager for a decade before I started managing.
For who?
For Stephen and for a bunch of other pickup things. I did some Pat McGee, some of the members of Dispatch, different little tours here and there.
Okay.
But I mean, Stephen tours so hard, especially back in the 2005. Tour managing for Stephen was my first job.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were you?
I was right out of college. I got my last 30 credits at the University of Massachusetts, Amherst, through an independent study as his tour manager when I was 20.
So were you involved when he was playing at Amherst and doing the college thing? You guys were there at the same time, right?
I'm 6 years younger.
Okay.
So I was in high school when he was playing college parties, and I grew up in Amherst, so I went to Amherst High School. So I would just go to some of these parties, hang out with him.
Yeah.
And as he went through college and after college, he started taking it a little more seriously. After he was done working for the Iron Horse, he just did this as his full-time job. I'm going to play shows. But he would do like the Weekend Warrior style, Boston, Philly, New York, DC, all in one kind of like Thursday through Sunday jam. And by that time I was at UMass. Yeah. And he would ask me to come along with him and sell his one CD or, keep him company in the car. Right. And I would do that. And then I figured out people had a job doing that thing, selling the merch and taking care of the logistics and all that stuff. And he was just a solo guy opening for fill in the blank people back then, or cobbling his own stuff together. But I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And as my college wore on, he got bigger and started touring a lot. And the Sixers formed, and my first job was tour managing them. But that was, 200 plus dates a year.
That's a lot.
So it is a lot. So it doesn't leave a lot of room for anything else. But when we would take time off, I would fill in and do things for other artists that we would meet along the way.
What is it that you liked about it so much early on?
I've always loved being around music. I don't play any instruments, but while I was tour managing, I did all of his guitar teching, changing all his Stephen strings and stuff like that. I learned about the whole crew side of the industry.
Stephen couldn't do that himself? Or?
He could do it himself. But did I do a great job at it? Yes.
Well,
I did.
You stuck around.
I did. So I did. I loved being around. I loved that there was a spot for someone to be in the music industry, to be that close to music, but not be a musician. I could be part of I was just as important.
You're doing everything
to the operation
other than being on stage playing songs.
I also loved I love a good hang, and I love not that the road is just a hang, but I love a good. When there's I love a good laugh. I love a good, let's kick back and have fun. I can work hard, but there's a lot of this, you spend a lot of time in the van. Yeah. And being able to just hang and keep everything together, I just brought a lot of value to that particular role.
Yeah.
And it felt awesome. So
Yeah. Well, I know my experience of being out in venues with you, it's always pretty fun.
Thank you.
I have to admit.
Thank you.
I will give you that.
thank you.
I won't give you much, but I will give you that.
But imagine a road experience where you didn't have someone like
That'd
that.
be terrible.
You need
It'd be terrible.
You need someone to
The fun buffer.
yeah, you get a little bummed out or you get a little burnt, and there's someone there with a smile who can
Yeah.
bring you up with that inside joke or a little nickname or a little something
Yeah.
fun who doesn't get down.
What is when you were touring with the Sixers when they first started,
Mm-hmm.
other than being near the music and being just around it, were you actively trying to find ways to make, what were you doing to make the situation or the day-to-day stuff better as a road manager? Because you weren't manager, you were road manager.
Not manager.
Tour manager.
That came later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tour manager. On the, I don't know if you're familiar
having a hard
with.
time figuring out what you did.
No, I'm trying to frame it in an interesting way. So, on the Enneagram scale, I'm a 2.
See, I don't love the Enneagram thing, but
Okay.
I will let you explain it because maybe
Thank you.
you can enlighten me on Enneagram stuff. Because
Probably not, but I will
So what's
shed a
2?
little
What is
light
a
on.
2?
A 2 is a giver. So,
Okay.
I feel happiest when I'm needed or when have made myself valuable to someone
Okay.
else.
I would agree with that for
on
you.
On the road, you can see how a two could be a good tour manager.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So, just being the one who had the answers to stuff. People came to me for information. I had to keep everything together. Where are we going to go? Book the hotels. Where are we going to be? When are we leaving? Where are we stopping for lunch? I got it. Here's a spot. I found
But
this
you're
spot
like
off here.
the mom. You're the motherly figure.
Yeah, I mean, and it was sort of a natural. It's not lost on me that now I have 3 sons.
Yeah.
And it's I went from taking care of these guys to now taking care of
Those guys.
my own guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I think that's kind of what I brought. Just this don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Or what do you need? And let me take care of whatever it is you need. Snacks, something different in the green room,
Yeah.
or information, or a good laugh,
Yeah.
or moving dead cases around, whatever that thing is.
Yeah. 'Cause, I mean, there's different with different bands come different styles of tours. Not every tour is the same. And I feel like if you're on a tour that has a more demanding group of people or a just more systems in place as it's been worded, you have to have the person there that can take the brunt of those things.
Yeah.
And my experience with you is you were always really good at separating things and being the person to figure it out and get make sure everything's cool.
I'll take that.
Would you agree with that
Yeah.
assessment?
Sure. Yes.
Okay.
That feels, I can wear that hat.
Okay.
That
I mean,
feels
I
right.
think it's really good. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's no dig there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. I think that I naturally became good at tour managing because
Yeah.
of those features of my personality.
And did you with the Sixers? Were you doing the stuff with the members of Dispatch during that or
Same time.
Same time as that. So you
Same
were
time,
kind of moving around.
yeah.
So if the Sixers were playing
Or
over 200 shows a year, how are you finding time to do
I mean,
that?
I would only do something with someone else if I had the dates off.
Okay.
I worked with Wilco's management to do their Solid Sound Festival, help run the merchandise
Yeah.
scene of that festival that happens every 2 years. So I would just give Stephen a heads up, I'm not going to be able to do, fill in the blank. I mean, that only happened for the first couple times because then I started managing and got off the road.
Yeah.
And his schedule didn't matter to me anymore.
Right. It didn't matter.
And me getting off the road coincided almost to the month with me having my first kid.
Was that planned? Not the kid. I don't mean that, but was getting off the road. Like, why did you get off? Did you want to get off the road before you had kids, or did you want to have a family and you were like, I need to get off the road? Is that it?
I wanted to have a family and we started trying to have a baby. And
how? How does that work?
You can't see this, but I have a very detailed diagram of exactly what happens.
Well, you brought a whole blackboard.
Yeah.
You have chalk and erasers. It's pretty.
And when I flip it over,
you were a lot more prepared than me. No, so I mean, did you ever think about making it work as a tour manager, being on the road and also having a family, or were you always just like
that wouldn't have been a viable option.
Okay.
There's no demands of a baby, and tour managing, you have to kind of be available to take care of everybody else.
Right.
And you don't, that's impossible.
It's impossible.
If you have to take care of an infant.
Yeah.
That's not. So, between my son I did the tour manage up through the final Sixers tour, which was 2012, fall 2012, 7 years ago. And finished, I was, 8 months pregnant, settled that show. I would have promoters come on to the bus to settle the show so I could have my feet up at that point in the day.
Wow.
I was majorly pregnant, and my husband wrote a very heavily worded email to everyone in the band before I left for that tour, and he said,
it's like, listen, you
she
motherfuckers.
does not she doesn't lift anything.
She's not lifting a finger.
She is not yours anymore.
Yeah.
But that tour was great. And then
was that sad, the end of that?
Yeah.
For everyone?
It was sad because I loved doing that. I loved traveling. It's cool when you tour, you have friends in Seattle that, you get to see like twice a year because, you're going to pass through there.
Yeah. And
you have random people, in cities you're never going to vacation to, never going to go out of your way to go back to fill in the blank, random city.
El Paso.
So, yeah, but like being able to doing those drives, those long random stretches in the West that are cool that you are not going to do once you're choosing specific destinations.
Yeah.
I miss that kind of stuff, to not be able to see that. That's kind of a bummer. But if I was super pregnant and about to become a mom and really excited about that. So any sadness was kind of like, yeah, that's a bummer, but I also get to do this other really cool thing.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have a job that doesn't involve working with musicians, so I have to figure this out.
Yeah.
Stephen was getting to a spot where I pretty much, for that first year of my oldest son's life, I was Stephen's day-to-day.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year, and then by the end of that year, we figured out you're pretty much doing what a manager does.
Right.
And his previous management company it just made sense for me to take him on.
Just come in and fill in the blank.
And get the full commission, I was getting a little bit for doing a lot of stuff. And I decided, what
were some of those things entail when you first started managing, like
day-to-day stuff is like maintaining a lot of databases, maintaining the mailing list, sending out newsletters, working on social media, making sure his instrument insurance is up to date.
Actually, just reminds me I need to renew mine pretty soon.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Figuring out, that stuff's all his songs are registered properly.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. Also, he would say, who's that company? Where did we get our trailer? When did we last get that serviced? Can you look, all the little things to bigger things. Let's try to get, the ASCAP Lounge at Sundance Film Festival. Let's try to do that type of stuff. So little picture and big picture, it's all that stuff in between. Helping find designers, graphic designers for album covers, merch, new merch
T-shirts,
ideas, whatever it is.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
So it's like, will you guys kind of get together and come up with some ideas together, like goals, and kind of get on the same page, and then you will go and try to execute these things?
Yeah, so now you're asking, like, what do I do as a manager now?
Yeah. I mean, I guess we're there now.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, so it's my company, Marionette Management. Our line is...
Actually, before you say that...
Please.
Sorry.
No. Apology accepted.
Was that just a natural thing for you that you wanted to get into, and the family just kind of came first, and you're like, I can't be on the road, it's kind of a bummer, but instead of, going in a completely different direction professionally, I will start, and I'm putting words in your mouth, I guess, but like, was that what you wanted to do, just to be able to kind of stay around music and do that whole thing? Was that just
it made the
plan?
most sense. It was a very natural progression to go from that to I learned how to do pretty much everything.
Okay.
So over the course of tour managing and then day to day and working very closely with his previous management company, I saw everything that was involved. And that's kind of where the name Marionette came from, as a joke of like, who's in control? What is it? I mean, we're all sort of like, we have the same goals, but forward facing, who's going to handle what things? It's all the same
stuff. But you saw the opportunity there.
And it seemed like, well, what else? Well, I have a 1-year-old, and I have a mortgage, and this is the most viable way for me to have a flexible schedule, make money, work with people I love. I love working with Stephen. I mean, we have grown our careers together, side by side. We are also cousins, so it's just this inseparable. Outside of being cousins, we have plenty of cousins we're not friends with, but we are.
We all do.
We are best friends, and there's just this like it just works. The way his personality goes works with how we give each other a lot of space to be ourselves, and it works. So, so I didn't want to give any of that up, but then I also needed to grow it. I couldn't just survive on managing one client and really serve that client by doing the full gamut of what a management company does without having other people at the company, without having a staff, at least an intern, so I needed other clients, and I started taking on other clients.
How many clients do you have right now?
At this moment, I have 4.
Okay.
And I have 1 intern and 1 employee.
So who's your intern?
His name is Kamal.
Hey, Kamal.
And he goes to the Heart School.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. No, that's great. I have a lot of good friends that went to the Heart School.
I know you do.
Bronze Radio, they all went there. But
hello. Dan Mills? No?
Dan Mills did not.
Oh.
Dan went to Ithaca.
Oh.
Ithaca College.
I hear it's gorgeous.
I heard
gorgeous.
That too. I read a T-shirt once that said that. So, and then Dale works for you?
Dale Campbell.
Dale Campbell works for you.
Who is a woman. She works for me.
She's a wonderful woman.
She receives so many emails on an almost hourly basis.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. And it is... It is awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Or hey, Doug, just, or hi, David. Stephen told me to reach out to you. Yeah.
Like, it's Dale.
No, it's Dale. It is Dale. I am a woman named Dale.
It's Mrs. Dale or Miss Dale. Ms. Dale.
Ms. Dale, if you're nasty.
Hi, it's Ms. Dale here.
And she lives in Nashville and works remotely, and she does all of the day-to-day for Stephen. Do
you like pawn off a lot of the work you don't want to do on them?
Well...
Is that how it works?
On the intern?
Are you that?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
100%. That's what he does. That's what he's for.
Yeah. Sorry,
and actually...
I need to text Jenna back. I'm sorry.
No problem. You're going to edit this out, right?
Yes.
Great.
No.
I'll just do a quick check ski on our phones.
Yeah,
That's what
well,
you do in a
Genevieve is
podcast.
here, and she's been nice enough to go and like walk around and
It's very nice of
kinda
her. Get her steps in.
get her steps in while
Yeah.
while get some business done.
Yeah, you have to.
Hey, is that Boots Factor?
So,
You want to make a guest appearance?
oh, not in my podcast.
What's the deal with technology? I feel like there's all these things that always happen with the new iPhones. You've got these new connections.
I have a real question. Why are the Mets so bad?
It's ownership. That's it. All right, I don't want to interrupt you two.
It's all right.
Just want to say hello.
Is Jess a good manager?
She's the best. She's the best manager. I think her artists speak for themselves. Herself. Themselves.
But
Herself.
I think that's a biased opinion.
That's the best kind of opinion.
It is the best kind of opinion.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Anyway, I wanted to say hello.
Thanks,
and,
Boots.
I'm a big fan of After the Gig, Audible.com.
A lot of people think
iTunes.
that we don't like each other.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Jesse.
Yeah. I mean, people are idiots.
That's crazy. Is this on the message boards?
I get emails about it all the time. It's like, are you guys
Really?
all right? Is everything okay? No.
We roomed together.
We
We had a
roomed
good
together.
time. This is
Yes.
Let's just squash those.
We shared a hotel room with 2 queen beds, and we only used 1 bed.
Yeah.
There's no use to ruffle any other sheets. We only needed 1 set.
And we shared secrets.
Secrets that we can't divulge
We won't-
here.
No.
Most of this is getting edited out. This is where Boots said all the bad things, and I had to take it all out. On with the episode. Oh, I was going to use some
Now
of
you
it.
really
Now
have
I
to edit
can't
that
use
out.
any of it.
Boots ruined it.
Ruined it. If I had a nickel for every time I heard that phrase,
Boots ruined it.
But what are like some of the? I mean, what else? Like, are you just home with your kids, just managing art? Like, what do you do? Like, what
No,
are you
I mean,
doing?
that sounds so sad.
It does sound sad. I
no.
mean, you come out to a lot of shows. And
So
stuff.
my company's line is working with artists to bring their vision to life. So I would say my management style is different than other companies. It is not so much I know how your career needs to go, so I'm going to be the driver and you listen to me and I'll bring you places, kid. It's not like
hey, kid, I'll take you places you need to go.
I mean, and maybe that doesn't really exist anymore. I bet it does, but it's just
I
not
definitely
my.
think it does.
It's not my. It's not my style.
Well, I think it's more these days like, oh, is what you do in like what we think is going to be the thing?
Yeah.
No. See you later. Good
yeah.
luck.
Yeah, pretty much. But so I work best with artists or I also manage a couple producers, and that's, similar vibe, but different workload. But
What does entail? Like, what does that mean?
managing a producer.
Yeah.
So with a producer, if you think about what their role is,
I'm sorry, this is so rude. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything. If you think about what their role is with them, they have to represent what they do as their own commodity and like handle money. I mean, going up to someone and saying, well, yeah, I can produce your record, but I'm $1,000 a track and,
Right.
Whatever. Or I could maybe produce your record. Why don't you email my manager and I can help keep track of their calendar and vet projects and
You deal with the nuts and bolts, really.
and then make sure, they're not going to say for themselves, yeah, well, it's 50% up front to lock it in. But a manager can, because it is in my best interest to make sure that their calendar is nice and tightly packed full of projects.
It also keeps the artists and producers' relationships separate.
Exactly.
From
Exactly.
Yeah.
They're just focused on the art. They're not focused on nothing else is in the room with them.
And just for that example of how like we've dealt with that together, like if I, in the past went on a tour with Stephen, I would get an email from you getting the offer and talking about the money and whatever. And that's how it keeps like I know
That's
you
how
guys
it should
talk
be.
to each other about it anyway. And like,
I mean,
you guys
because
know
it's
each
his
other because it's
income.
his thing.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
it's
I
like,
have to Yeah.
at least I don't have to have a potentially awkward conversation with Stephen. I have it with you.
Yeah.
So.
And it makes it better.
And it makes it way better. And actually, and you dealt with some of those first conversations I've ever had about that in touring and stuff like that. And you were very sweet. You know,
cool.
As much as I joke with you
Good.
aside, I think you're very good at it.
Well, I'll take that. Thank you very much.
But with that said, I'm wondering why you haven't offered to be my manager.
Well, if you let me.
Fucking idiot.
Total idiot. So maybe this will answer your question. The artists and the clients I take on, I need to work with clients who know what they're trying to do, know what the hell's going on, have an understanding of the industry, and have a picture of what their goals are. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to get done? And then individually with my clients, I have these meetings. What's our 18-month plan or a 12-month plan? Or what are we trying to do? In Stephen's case, he's putting out a book. We're going back to Europe.
Yeah.
And there are some speaking engagements, private events. There's like all kinds of stuff. And we look at the year and parse out where it's all going to go. What's it going to look like? And then I can turn around and give that plan to, and then when you look at that, there's a division of labor of what's going to fall on Stephen, what falls on Marionette to get done. And then it focuses you. It allows us to, we're on the phone all the time or several times a week at least if we're both really busy, just checking in, seeing how everything's going that's on the list. And I do that with Brian Dunne is another, I think he was just on your podcast. He is another client of mine, the newest addition to the roster, the most developing artist I've ever worked with. And we do the same thing. We have a record coming out. He didn't really have a team when we started working together.
Yeah.
So building that team has been a huge piece of the goal before you can even get to where do you want to be in a year? If you want to be anywhere, we got to flesh out this team. So working on that together, and then seeing where we want to go, see who has the relationships, and tackle each piece, as it falls.
Do any of the clients suffer because of an addition of a new client?
I would say that could happen at any level of the industry. Okay. So, but there's no way for a company to grow without adding more clients, and there's no way. It would not be a sustainable operation to just have a client unless that client is making stupid money. And then you can just have one,
right,
I
just
guess.
have one client. Yeah.
But if I don't want to rude, if I'm not looking to just, have my company atrophy and turn it in and just like, all right, well, now I'm going to stay at home and make casseroles. I have to.
Incredible.
It does.
I don't know what you have against casseroles.
I love a good hot dish.
Yeah.
For all you Midwestern listeners out there, it's called a hot dish. They won't know casserole. It's hot dish. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hot dish.
Hot dish. All right.
Yeah. And if
those of you Midwesterners
could be a nickname.
I would like a hot dish for the next time I'm in your town.
Would that not be a great nickname?
Hot dish?
For you?
I don't know.
Not really.
I like it better than Chardonnay. That's for goddamn sure.
It's a great nickname.
It's not a great nickname.
It is a great nickname.
First of all, the story in which it was based off of is not true.
That doesn't always matter.
It does matter
when
it's your nickname.
It doesn't really matter.
If that was the case, then I would call Stephen vodka soda splash of cran. But that doesn't have the same ring to it.
If you picked his name based off a random drink, I don't know.
But just that situation. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We've come this far.
I hear you. Hot dish.
So we were talking about client suffer. That makes sense what you said, because if it's not a sustainable business model to have one client that's whatever at this level or any level.
Right. I mean, and not to disparage the incomes of each individual client. That's like their lifeblood. But,
right, but it's
to
all,
run a whole company,
different.
to pay employees, to be able to afford childcare, separate podcast, but the costs of childcare are almost prohibitive for some people, for some parents to work because childcare is so expensive.
Yeah.
And I do have 3 kids, and the oldest is in public school, which is free. And now my second one is in free preschool, but the baby, who's going to be 2 in a week and a half, he needs childcare, or he's in my face. And I love him, but I can't be productive and serve my clients if he is around.
Right.
So to have enough money to afford the lifestyle, the staff, the infrastructure of my company, I need more clients.
Yeah.
And
you can always blame things on your baby.
so true. I do it all the time. But you can't, and also think of that one client. If I were to hollow it out and just devote my time to one client, do they want a company that's just this one person trying to meet their needs? Or would they rather have a company that has more employees, more clients, more resources, and more relationships?
Even the perception of you being the only one there just running around like crazy isn't a good
It's not cute.
It's not a good look.
It's not cute.
It's not a good look.
No.
No.
But the more clients you have, if you're able to do it well, then they come with their own opportunities and relationships and new connections to make. And that is only, if done right, going to benefit the rest of the roster.
How did you develop some of those connections early on? Like, did it start off as day-to-day stuff, and when you were on the road, did you keep records of the people in the venues that you were talking to, or industry folks?
So a lot of it is natural relationships, natural connections, being a warm, personable, memorable person.
Who on your team is that person?
Go to hell. But you just, there's maybe other industries are the same way. They have to be, but networking is really important, and being able to keep in touch with people and maintain relationships that actually are organic, not just I'm going to keep you around because I might need something from you. But like, wow, what you do is really interesting. Maybe there's something that makes sense for us to do together down the road.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's an opportunity that would present itself for us to partner on something.
Yeah.
And that feels cool. That doesn't feel like an ask or a grab or like like a greedy, sleazy thing. It feels like what you would do to grow your business.
I struggle with that sometimes, feeling like I'm just contacting people because I need something.
Yeah.
When like in reality, you need something, but I don't know. I feel bad sometimes.
Well,
because I don't want it to feel like that.
Sure.
Because I feel like I'm a genuine person. I genuinely like the people that I deal with, but like most of them. But like, no
offense taken.
But I don't know. When you need something and you're trying to get something done, it's hard to not feel like you're like this nagging person.
So,
and there's an art to that, I think.
There is, but also if you think of it less as I need something from you and shift it a little bit to what do I have? Like, what do I have? What can I offer you? Like, make it more of a partnership as opposed to a one-way give.
Right.
I mean, and also, I think you could get there. One could get there. One who needs to network, if you're listening, could get there by just practicing, building, maintaining connections and maintaining relationships, even with people who you don't think, you don't want to hang out with all the time. That's fine. But shooting someone a text because you saw something that made you think of them, and remember that, maybe if it's a promoter, shooting them an email. Oh, I saw this thing, thought you might dig that. Or in my case, an agent or another management company or another, I don't know. Or people from companies, different companies that might want to sponsor a client's tour, or, what I mean? Like anyone or someone moderately famous who likes one of my clients. Yeah. Trying to maintain a relationship with that person.
Right.
I mean, usually those are fun, so it's not work to maintain them. But but point is, you don't need to just only reach out to people when you need something, because that's going to be a dead end. That's going to be cold. That's not
right, because if they feel it and sense it like, why would you respond? If you're that person that's being reached out to, I guess, and you're just like, all right, the last 4 texts I got from this person were like, you know, can I get this? I need this. Can I have this? I always feel bad asking people for like guest list stuff, and you know, you're just like, all right, I'm sorry.
Well, guest list, I don't know if the guest list is something you should feel too bad asking for.
No, I mean, I don't feel bad when it's like someone I've played for, you know, but
Sure.
if I, like, there is going to be a situation in the near future where I'm like, hey,
Hypothetical.
Steven, there's a Guster show at the Columbus Theater in Providence. Can you get my sister on the list? Like, that stuff I feel like weird about, you know what I mean? Like, trying to use a relationship to help. I guess it's different if it's like my family, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I've always felt weird about things like that, asking for things. But I guess you have to.
Or ask it in a way that is like, hey, dude, no pressure if you can't make this work.
That's what I usually say.
But, you know, what are the chances of XYZ going down?
Yeah.
If not, no bigs.
Yeah.
So that if it is
Play
a
it
no,
cool.
then it, you know, then
it's
there's no
big deal.
damage.
Right. But it also gives, if you really want it, then it gives them a serious out.
But if it's easy for them to do,
Right, exactly.
they're going to do it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a relationship game.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, it is.
What
It
else?
is.
What else you got?
But if you like chatting with people and you like hanging with people, then
I do. I love doing this is great. And I feel like doing this specific thing, like the podcast, has gotten me opportunities and even just like getting to sit down and get to know somebody that I've been on the road with that I didn't really know very well.
For sure.
Just get to know them really well.
Yeah.
And it's been great.
good. And then you get a little content for the socials.
Little content for the socials of the medias.
People love that.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about?
Unless they're bad.
We're at 45 minutes.
What else do we want to talk about?
Is there something that you're like, I really wish I want people to know this about Jessica? What artists have things coming up that you're like, I'm excited about this? Is there going to be a barbecue next year?
There is. We're
Okay.
we're finalizing all the details right now, but it's going to be June 12th and 13th in Vienna, Virginia.
At
Jam and Java. We're
Cool.
working out. We're finalizing all of it right now, but that's the deal with the Westin and the only park. It's the 10th annual, so that's going to be kind of sexy, kind of fun.
Is there going to be any big surprises? we can talk about?
Still working on the surprises.
Okay.
Keep you posted. KYP. My client Brian Dunne, his record that was produced by Andrew Sarlo, that is really fantastic, comes out April 10th.
Can't wait to hear it. He played a song.
Oh, nice.
And that will be
So
at
that-
the end of the podcast. So.
That comes out April 10th. It's great. My client Jordan Hamlin, she's a producer, lives in Nashville, Tennessee. She owns a studio called Moxie. And that's where Stephen recorded Objects in the Mirror. But Leon Bridges made his new record there.
Nice.
A lot of good stuff is coming out of that studio. And she is, she's a powerhouse. And the studio is gorgeous. And it is booking up super fast and full of awesome stuff. And Marionette is going to take over the admin and calendar of that in the new year.
Okay.
But that is that's a beautiful spot. Moxie.space, MOXE.space.
I feel like now that you're sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like now that your youngest is 2, is a little older.
Yeah.
You're more involved now, and I feel like you're liking where you're at now.
I dig where I'm at.
Okay.
I also see a little light at the end of the tunnel of being covered in babies and just this it's still really tricky right now.
Yeah.
With the divide of childcare and work time, and my clients have to put up with, when I pick up the phone because they're calling, they might hear some shit on the other end. They might hear someone crying, especially if it's after 4 p.m. They're going to hear some crying.
Yeah.
They're going to have to hold on a second while I wipe a butt or make some dinner or whatever it is. But I am working really hard to get it done, because I think if I can get through this phase of life, my life is not all about my kids. And so
Yeah.
they have to kind of hold on, or everyone kind of has to hold on. And while I get through this phase, on the other
Can't
side
wait
of
for your
it
kids to hear that.
is all of this. Well, they need to know that their parents' lives do not revolve around them,
Right.
because they will be assholes if they do.
Yeah.
But on the other side of this is time for me to devote to my work and to my clients and to making their vision happen.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really into. So
No, it's cool. And I can sense it. I can sense that you're like, there's less strain, I guess. Less panic. Not panic, but like
it.
less like, whoa, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
Because when I was like playing more with Stephen like 2 years ago,
yeah.
I was around you a lot when you were like making things happen and doing stuff. And
Yeah.
and now, like, as you're sitting here, you're like, I got this, you know, I'm all set.
Yeah.
Figure this out.
I'll figure it out.
So
I do have an incredible husband
yeah.
who also works
Who
really,
has one
really
of the
hard.
best names.
He does. He does. He has a good first name.
Very good first name. It's Jesse.
Jesse. Yeah. Jesse. Jesse and Jessica, sitting here with Jesse Humphrey.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
And then any producers of yours producing some albums coming up right now, or nothing to speak of?
Well, my client Jamie Mefford, who's done all the Gregory Alan Isaacoff records, Greg's newest record was nominated for a Grammy.
Really?
So that's pretty exciting. Yeah, best folk album. And Jamie worked on that.
Gregory is a reach goal for me to get on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would love to sit down with him and have
Oh,
a
man.
chat. I think he's a very interesting fellow.
I wonder if you had any natural connections through relationships. A little practice and some
Weird.
networking. I'm
Yeah,
not.
let's see
I'm
if I
yeah.
fuck it up. If it doesn't happen, then
I
all the
will
listeners
not
know.
get you Greg on this podcast.
Come
It's
on,
not happening.
please.
I'm not
Pretty
a direct
please.
line to Gregory Alan
Oh,
Isaacoff.
who does? Nobody does. He lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere.
I know, man. If only he had produced part of Stephen's record,
If only.
which he did.
He did?
What? Southwest, Northeast,
Oh my god.
West.
This is
Anyway,
stupid. We got to stop doing that.
that's what I want to.
No, I mean, it would be great. I think the couple times that I've talked with him and met him for, just a second, I think he's
Yeah.
interesting. I think the way he produces records and
Yeah.
makes sounds is interesting and
Yep.
different than whatever.
Yeah.
So Greg, if you hear this, please come on my show.
Jamie, if you hear this, don't answer Jesse's calls to get Greg on your podcast. Jamie.
She's just kidding. She has her I'm just kidding face on. Well, Jess, thank you.
Thank you so much. This
Appreciate
was
it.
fun.
Even though it was short and I was trying to make stupid jabs at you in the beginning, I think it's good. I think it's going to be great.
Good.
What
I look
music
forward
would you
to.
like on your episode? Some Brian Dunne, some Stephen Kellogg.
I would like some Brian Dunne for sure.
Okay.
And some Stephen Kellogg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess.
You're welcome. Oh, you know what you should play?
Who?
All the Love That Comes to Me, because it's a co-write. I wrote it.
I think that song has been on a show already. I think it was either on Stephen's episode or
Fine. Then just play Milwaukee, because that's my favorite song ever.
Milwaukee's your favorite song ever? Is it because
there's a
your
verse
name's in
about
it?
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a real verse about me and how I was really sad that I would die alone.
It's kind of a long song.
Just play the second verse.
Okay. I'll play the second verse. That's good.
Deal. Fine.
All right. Deal.
All right. Out.
Handshake.
Done.
There
Sign
it is.
it.
Bye.
Good night.
Well, Jessica, she's afraid she won't find love. She says that she ain't never home. And just last night, I swear I heard her say, what if I die alone? No one wants to die alone. And it's a broken heart attitude, but it kind of fits right in to this movie about all of us that's still waiting to begin. And I've been chasing dreams in magazines the last 10 years. And the way that you treat your lovers up to you, but it can't feel all that good to be so jealous. And I guess I learned that too.
All right, so there's the episode with Mrs. Jessica Martin. Really had a good time talking with her. Remember to subscribe, rate, review. Check out the patreon.com/afterthegig. Email into the show at afterthegigpod@gmail.com. I'm going to leave you with a Brian Dunne song called I Hope You Could Make It, or I Hope I Can Make It to the Show. It's just a cool, chill way to vibe out of this episode. We're going to vibe out of the episode. So here it is, Brian Dunne with I Hope I Can Make It to the Show. See you next week. See you on the rock boat.
Well, I never stood a chance of being cool in any sense. I've never once been inside looking out. And I thought at least by now I would know the way around. But I never feel at ease among the crowd. Oh my God, got a heart that beats too fast and a head that won't slow down. It's been dogging me since I don't even know. But I'd like to meet your friends if the moment should allow. And I hope that I can make it to your show. Well, you don't seem like you'd care if the people stood and stared. Bet you wouldn't even notice anything. You're too patient, too kind, and you don't seem to mind. But I'm neither, and I'm scared of what they think. Oh my God, I've got a heart that beats too fast and a head you can't slow down. It's been dogging me since I don't even know. But I'd like to meet your friends if the moment will allow. And I hope that I can make it to your show. Can't slow down. It's been dogging me since I don't even know. But I'd like to meet your friends if the moment will allow. And I hope that I can make it